I've been there 5 years ago.
You're being short.
All right, let's move on to approval of the minutes, February 5th, 2024. Do we have any corrections or additions?
I'll make the motion to approve as shown.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion from Mr. Long, second from Mrs. Jones. We have a roll call, please.
Atkins?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Long?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Young?
I'll abstain, I was not present.
Motion passed. We have findings of facts to approve. Docket 02 BZA V-24, Max and Connie Zirkle. Any additions or corrections to the findings? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve finding of facts.
We have a motion to approve, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Mrs. Jones and a second by Mr. Pearson. We have a roll call, please.
Atkins?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Long?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Young?
Abstain, was not present.
Motion passed. No old business, new business. Docket 01 SP-24. Name Pearl Lennon Living Trust, DDT, 82410. Address 900 West, 200 North, 27 Converse. Zoning District Ag. Now, we have a problem that I need the board's input. I drove past this and checked it out carefully. There was no sign advertising that there would be a hearing. The rule is that the sign has to be there and maintained by the property owner or the petitioner in this case. It was not there. Was a sign issued?
We would have had, because most of this was done over the phone, we would have had Nicole run it out there and put it up.
Did you
I
run it
don't
out,
believe.
put it up, Nicole?
I don't remember dropping it off there. I've dropped it off in several other places for the last meeting, but I don't remember doing it for this one.
Okay,
Yeah, we can't really hear that.
what'd you say, Liz?
I said, I don't think we can hear that application because they hadn't had the sign put out for the public.
Okay,
Yeah,
how many letters were sent out notifying neighbors?
One, two, three, four, five.
It was rather sparsely populated out there. 5 would get you quite a distance from that field, I think, on both sides. Is there a motion to continue this one until the next meeting? Or is there a motion to waive the requirement?
Can we legally waive the requirement?
Do you think we can legally waive the requirement?
Is it in the rules that it's supposed to be posted on the property?
Yes.
Or is it by state
Yes.
statute?
I believe it's,
In the ordinance?
I think it's in our ordinance. I'd have-
I mean, to me, if it's in the ordinance, it's your procedure, I don't know. I think you almost have to continue. I don't think you have a choice. And it's only really as a matter of fairness too,
Yes.
for the public to know what's
Yes.
going on.
Yeah.
Yes.
I did talk to the man across the street. He said he got a letter. But people up and down the street, even though they were
Right.
further away,
Right.
don't know. So, sir, did you have something you wanted to add?
I'm the applicant,
Yes.
and I think it's our position that if any of the noticing requirements haven't been met, that we would prefer it to be tabled until such time as they can be met. It's
Thank you.
important to us to follow those, so we have no issue with that and would encourage it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Been helpful.
Sign in
And
too
we'll
for
see
you.
you then next month.
Do you need me to sign in? I don't know if I know it's not public comment, but okay.
Yeah, small comment, but it was good. Thank you. That concludes our new business. It's time for reports, resolutions, communications, general discussion, and public comment. Mr. Glickfield, do you have anything to report?
I do not, actually, would you like to have a motion to continue that? Or are you satisfied just doing it as from the chairman's position? I think you're justified either way. Sometimes a motion's cleaner.
Would anyone like to make a motion?
I'd like to make the motion that we
Table?
table
Okay,
the applicants,
do we have a second?
because of the sign.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Mrs. Jones and a second from Mr. Long. Do we have a roll call?
Atkins,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Pearson,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Motion passed. Okay.
And the only other thing I might mention, just based on discussion in executive session, and you might very well bring it up too, Mr. Chairman, is the desire to have a permit report each month presented to the board.
Okay,
Other than that, I have nothing else.
all right, any other reports?
Do we need to make a motion on the heat?
Yeah, we'll make that motion here. We could do that right now on a monthly report on permits.
I'd like to make a motion for the monthly reports on permits.
Do we have a second?
I have a question.
Okay.
Of all these permits, how many stacks of paper are we gonna receive?
Yeah, we'll give you a breakdown, every day when Nicole is finished, she'll give back to Brenda what she inspected today. Brenda breaks it down to general inspections, roof inspections, remodels, et cetera, and then we have a standing count. So we break down what we go look at and how many, and then we also, with our permits, we have an Excel form that we do monthly that is an estimated construction cost for every permit that comes in that month.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, I was suggesting new permit applications each month. So that really should be just a page or two.
Right.
Right.
That has the dollar amounts. And I think, hopefully that answers Mr. Long's question also, rather than having a report on every.
Well, he
single
just
permit.
reported 1,500.
I know.
Night reading.
Yeah.
Chip.
I mean, if it's 1,500 for a month, I guess that's good for the assessed value of Grant County.
It's a good thing for Grant County.
Yes. And I did tell Mr. Hardman I would get him a sample, and I would forward it. He then can, I don't have everyone's email, right, forward it to everyone. And then he can pass it on to show what a report might look like. Basically, the report that we receive in Gas City is very helpful for the board members, because then they can actually see each permit, each property, and then if they have questions, they can ask it at the meeting.
Thank you.
Sure. Think you're ready for a second, then?
Yes, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. All right, we have a motion from Mrs. Long and a
I'm
second.
not Mrs. Long. Get out of here.
I think I did that once before too, didn't
You've
I?
done that before.
Okay,
Get the
Mrs.
reins
Jones.
straight here.
My wife's sitting in the car.
James will be
And we
right
have
here.
a second from Mr. Young. Got it right that time, okay. Roll call, please.
Atkins,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Pearson,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Motion passed. Based on our previous meeting discussion, we will report to the APC our findings in the next meeting. At this time, we'll open it up to public comment. Yes, come to the podium, sir. And ma'am. Please sign in.
Jerry and Peg Schultz. We've got 11240 east, 1000 south, Marion. Have property in Fairmount, Indiana. We've been here before discussing it different times. We have a couple things. We filed an appeal, and we never did heard. We heard it was too late for the appeal, and then we give it to Mr. Glickfield to take under advisement. We never did hear back on the appeal, whether it was timely fashion or not. It's one of the things. The second thing is, we've been told we need a variance for a fence on our property in Fairmount. We've never seen an ordinance that says we need a variance for a fence. It's town council, town meeting, they told us there was no ordinance against fences. And when we started to put one up, because the contractor and everybody was abusing our property, there was a stop order put on our fence. We were also told by the area plan director that there was no permits for fences and there was no ordinances at that time that belonged to the city. Well, then when we put a stop order on, we couldn't go any further after we'd had the property surveyed and recorded. Surveyor went to the town and explained the survey to them. Town and everybody, we never really heard what we should or shouldn't do. Then recently, we were told that we possibly needed a variance, because the neighbor got a variance for 0 setback. And there's still some question about that survey that we're not completely satisfied with, but we're not giving up. But we went to area plan, talked to Mr. Malott and asked him if we needed to file a variance. And we were told, no, we did not. But we've been told yes, no, maybe, no, yes. We don't want to end up with our property over there with having a problem later on and somebody say, well, this person didn't have the authority, that person didn't have the authority. If we need to apply for a variance, we're willing to do that. But if there's no ordinance that says we have to have a variance, we don't want to spend the money to do it. But we want to be legal and correct. And since we've been told yes, no, maybe, no, yes, I don't know where the heck we're supposed to go.
This situation has been ongoing for over a year. And we have talked to the town of Fairmount, we've talked to the office, and we were told no, and then we need it. And we even had a stop work order put on our fence. And then afterwards, the project on the other side of our alley, after it was completed, nobody cares now, except the lady that got the variance, spatial variance, and her coming when we're there, making comments to us. So what we'd like to do is put this matter at rest for everybody, since it's been ongoing for a year. And the problem was that the contractors were driving and using our property for their work vehicles and to load and unload their supplies. And we asked them to stay off of our property. They were making ruts and it continued. And so we wanted to put a fence up to protect the property. And the fence is not 6 foot. And we want to put this matter to rest, basically, for everybody.
And the fence is on our property line.
It's on our
side of the
property.
line. It's not
So,
protruding over, it's not.
so if we get an application and apply for a spatial variance, whether we need it or not, we just want to put this to rest.
We have a 2-foot setback on fences from the property line.
2 foot.
Did that
Okay?
used to be closer?
The,
The 1 foot, now 2 foot? Is that
well,
correct?
at the time, we were in Fairmount and asking about this fence. The town told us
There was no.
there was not.
There
Was none.
was
There
no
was not an
setback at all.
ordinance.
They have no right of way at all. The property line is our property line. That
And-
is our, and they had no variance for fences or anything.
The
town-
alley
town
goes
of
right to
Fairmount
the property line then?
Goes right to
Yeah.
the property line,
Okay, on
yes.
both sides. And
Yes.
on the other side, we gave a variance of actually 0 feet
Right, and
because
that's,
the house was right there
Right
at the
there.
property line. So we gave a variance for that. That is the county's decision because Fairmount is a member of area plan. So if the 2 foot is correct,
We did an amendment to the ordinance in 2021.
Is it signed?
Yes.
Okay, I haven't seen a signed ordinance, that's the reason I asked.
so our fence is erected.
yeah. Is it
So
posted
we're-
on the website?
Yes.
So
I'm
it is
sorry.
published.
And it was taken to all the towns signed for it also.
Okay. So it would stand to reason to protect yourself. Applying for a variance makes sense. I believe the fee is $100.
Okay.
If I was you,
But why?
why?
Yeah.
Well,
what-
the
what-
ordinance is 2 foot now, and
Oh,
he's
okay.
closer than 2 foot to the property line.
Okay, But she said this has been going on for a year, so therefore she,
Well, there's one for the home.
okay,
Yeah, it was a house that was going on for
Okay.
a year, and there were trees growing in
Okay.
the alley, and the alley was going around the trees and driving on their property.
okay,
And then the construction workers on the property across the alley were parking their vehicles on their property. When we were researching the house situation, I looked on GIS, and strangely enough, there was the construction vehicles parking in there on their property. So, yeah, they definitely had merit in their
Okay.
complaint.
but what I'm saying is that $100 fee
Yeah,
for that fence, that seems, that's what the fee is for to put that fence up, Brian?
Any variance or special exception is $100.
Okay, so if they pay that fee, then, this stop work order, is that out the window?
We've pulled that.
Okay, so these people are ready
Mr.
to,
Stoltz came in
okay,
a couple of weeks ago and talked, and with everything that happened before, like I told him, the neighbor is not complaining, so, I mean, we haven't pushed it. Ed and I's had communications as far as where do we want to go with it. We haven't went over and measured. Mr. Stoltz and I talked about the fence possibly being 7 foot off, or 7 inches off instead of 2 feet, and he had also talked about wanting to put the rocks back in front of the fence so that if any cars came through, they would hit the rocks and not the fence.
okay.
But the problem we have with that is anything over 30 inches.
So we'll put the rocks back on the property line.
But not in the right of way.
Yeah, not in the right of way, just on the
Yeah.
property line. So
Okay,
they
so,
get
so
the-
these people, once they get pay the fee, the $100, this fence can go and they can put
well,
this to
you'll
rest?
have to decide the variance.
Well, we'll decide
Yes.
decide what the decision is going to be. But to continue this is like you said, it's been a year. Let's wrap this thing up. This has just been too long.
That's what we
Yeah.
want to do. We want to make sure it's wrapped up and wrapped
Yeah.
up correct
Yeah.
instead of
Correct.
everybody changing their mind or people
Yeah.
changing their mind and
Right.
telling us this or that or whatever.
Ryan, I want to discourage you from ever, advising someone not to get a variance if you know that there's something that's not kosher.
Well, I haven't measured, I haven't, so, and that's where I had asked Ed, do we want to pursue this or,
Okay.
Well, that was back when we were doing the house across the street.
right?
But at the time, I had enough on my plate with that.
But, but since then, people from the area plan and people from the town came over and put down lines that were not on the not on the survey lines. And we got a letter saying that we had to move our rocks because they were protruding into the alley. They were not protruding into the alley. The people that put the lines down were not surveyors, and surveyor was not a part of putting the lines down. And so our rocks have been moved. They were on the property line before, and then the town came through and moved them under somebody's direction. But I was told they was gonna put them back after the trees were there. But they haven't been touched, and since all this other is going on, it's time to put it to bed, get our property back like it needs to be, instead of having to come to meetings and discuss this all the time.
I agree.
Ryan, if they get a variance, they apply for that, can we put this to bed? Would that,
That they get a variance, the deadline for next month is next Monday. So if you get in and get it filed, we can have it in here next,
We can do that, I can't wait.
Can I file it tonight?
Well, they're not open. Or is there?
Why not? Everything else gets done.
Yeah.
You love to come see us, Jerry.
Okay.
Yeah. There is just a little. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
We're not gonna go there, Randy.
Okay. Get your paper. Facts, finding facts.
We don't have to do that, right, because we passed on it, right?
Yes, table.
But hang on to that till next,
Yeah.
the next one.
February.
Is there anyone else from the public who'd like to speak to the board?
I think we confirmed it.
Oh.
We were supposed to turn them in.
Hi, I'm Linda Sutton. I live at 1221 South, 350 East. And to start with, I'd like to congratulate Mr. Young on his appointment to this office. But I have a question. And why do you feel like you have the integrity to hold an office with the BZA? What has changed in the past 10 months that makes you think you can do this when the last time you were up in front of this committee and you were asked questions, you gave evasive answers, you wouldn't answer the questions completely, a lot of half-answered questions, and you couldn't remember the answers to some of the questions. If you're going to represent this county, what makes you think you have the integrity to do that?
Ed, I think you need to, personal attacks.
That's kind of a personal
Yeah, so we
attack.
can't have
Is
that.
there something you would like to state that is something you would like
Yeah,
to
BZA.
see, or some improvement you would like, or?
Something pertaining to the BZA's
I will
job.
tell you, Mr. Young talked to me, and he said that he would try and have a contractor put up shields to direct the lighting away from your property. If there's anything else that he was
Quiet
interested in.
when they have their weddings?
Now, if I remember right, there's a condition attached to the approval that Mr. Young,
Well, see, I've been
Received.
told there were no conditions. Ryan told me there were no conditions
there was a condition,
with
it's
it.
supposed to be reviewed in a certain period
2
of time.
years,
Yes,
2 years.
which is
2
on the
years.
calendar.
Okay.
yeah, we're gonna review that
And
every 2
a
years.
testimony was that there wouldn't be any amplified outside noise. It would only be music amplified inside. Is that,
But that's not happening. And when did you pay your permit bills?
In
He shouldn't have to
2022?
answer- He shouldn't have to answer that.
Guys,
No,
That's probably
no, that's personal.
not a question.
Okay. I just wondered, I mean, you did not get permits to do your work as a contractor. To me, that would be something very important for you to do and to make sure that it was done correctly. But yet, with the renovation of this building, you did not do that. So where's your integrity there on being able to judge someone else when you don't comply to the rules yourself?
I think that's
That's
probably
personal.
it. If you would.
Okay.
proceed. Is there anyone else from the public who would like to comment? Okay, next meeting is April 1st, 2024. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.